So it's time to go on an adventure. We're gonna raid a cellar. Alright, to be fair, I'm not the one who's raiding the cellar. It's actually a friend of mine who's a sommelier, has been building cellars and also selling cellars, liquidating cellars. Basically what happened was I received an email with a spreadsheet in it with all these aged bottles of wines. It's here in Seattle, the cellar's somewhere here in Seattle, and it's probably about 6,000 bottles large. So I went through that Excel spreadsheet with a fine-tooth comb looking for delicious values and wines that I think might continue to cellar. So let's learn a little bit more about collecting wines and then buying collector wines in general. Hey, dude.
Hi, how are you? Come. Look, I have all your babies that I've been diligently fostering for you and ready to give them to their forever home.
Oh, heck yes. So what do we got here? Oh, I see some exciting looking things right away.
So much good stuff. Force Majeure, one of my favorite collaboration wines from Washington State. The amazing work of Bob Betts, who can do no wrong. This amazing Carignan from Cotes Catalanes. This is going to be insane. This is the Chateau de Presky 2010 Ventoux.
Great vintage. How do you even start thinking about collecting and starting a wine collection?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it's important to think about what you're collecting for. Are you collecting because you want to drink these wines, or are you collecting because you want to resell them? Because depending on what your strategy is, you have two very different approaches to a successful entrance into the whole idea of collecting. So my number one rule, whether it's a personal cellar or a cellar that you're hoping to resell, is you should be prepared to drink any bottle that enters your cellar.
Is there any like non-starters for a cellar, things that you would just absolutely not put down in cellar because you know they're not going to resell or they're not going to age well?
First of all, things that you've acquired for less than $20 probably won't resell very well and probably won't appreciate a lot. It's possible, but in general, the only I would never cellar this is sweet rosés. And let me be clear, not all rosés are sweet. Most of the best ones are dry, and dry rosés can age 10 years or longer. In fact, sometimes are even better with age.
Are white wines cellarable?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it depends on the wine, obviously. There's exceptions to everything. But I think for the most part, white wines age really well, especially high acid white wines.
How much would you have to drink to actually drink that whole cellar?
So with 6,000 bottles is a pretty substantial cellar. Quick math, 6,000 bottles, if you drank one bottle of wine a week, would take you about 115 years. The only limits I think that people put on their cellar collections is their storage space.
So cellaring wines, honestly, I was a little bit concerned about my picks because Washington wine, these wines are really big wines. They don't really have high acidity.
Okay, there's no easy answer. It's based on your experience. It's based on your familiarity with regions, producers, vintage conditions, all that. But I do have a hypothesis. I think the whole dormant or dumb phase is a real thing that happens for certain regions and certain varietals. And I was sort of, I'm kind of science minded. I was trying to empirically track the types of wines that happens to. This is completely hypothetical and based on just an empirical taste experience.
Just your taste experience,
I've come to the conclusion that wines that are very intense in structure, whether it's high alcohol, high extract especially, high tannin, I believe that on their developing path, there really is a timeline where they become less good for a while before they sort of explode back. Think about caterpillar to butterfly. There's a point where it's in a cocoon.
Yeah.
You can't get to it. It doesn't look very good. There's nothing to see. But then it comes out and it's like, whoa, that was worth it.
What are your avenues to market? What kind of options do you have to actually sell your wines?
Sure. So if you're going to liquidate a cellar, number one, you can go to auction.
Okay.
It's generally the lowest return. Number two, there are resellers. There are companies that will buy entire cellars and resell it. The thing is, they're not going to offer you anything close to market value because they need to sell them at a profit. Or you can sell directly to collectors.
Yeah, that would sound like a good option, right?
Yep, you can find someone like me that can help cellar raid. So I have a list of about 700 or 800 people that anytime I encounter a cellar, it goes out to them. You're one of those people,
I'm one
right?
of them.
People like me that are sort of cellar raiders that help people liquidate is a way to do it. Beyond that, you're going to be willing it to family, giving it away to family or friends, or also a really wonderful thing to consider is donations. There's a lot of stuff that might have value but might be hard to get the value for it. Donating it to a charity especially charity wine auction, means you can take tax deductions on that. I happen to be the vice president of the United Sommeliers Foundation.
Oh, and they could really use some help. Here's the thing, the risk that I took that I don't know what you're gonna comment on is this bet. The thing about this wine, 2011 in Washington State, not a good vintage according to everyone.
So the thing about cooler vintages is I've noticed that those tend to age very well because cooler vintage means higher acidity, and acid is one of like the most principally important things structurally for wine's ability to age.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Do you want to do it? Should I do it?
Hey, you do it. Your show. Your baby's your show.
All right, let's see if it...
Let's do it. Let's see how 2011 worked. No, so far smells pretty good.
Black olive?
Yeah, it's got this really awesome savory backtone. It's almost got like a bay leaf note to it.
Yeah. Obviously, black pepper. It's not bacon fat. It's more like pork belly. All right, let's give it a taste.
Too late, I already did.
This is...
So good. Oh my goodness.
That is actually just starting to get good. So that went shockingly well. I was the most surprised with the discovery that what was traditionally considered a bad vintage actually turned out to be a really, really delicious wine. And now I'm just stocking up my wine fridge. Just remember, when you are starting a collection, you will want to keep your wines cool. They tend to like it around 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about, I think, 12 degrees Celsius, and around 75% humidity. So I hope you are excited to maybe start your own collection, even if it's just for a year or a couple of years. And if you have any questions or comments about what you've been cellaring, feel free to leave me a comment. I'm always excited to see what people are into. Until next time, happy tasting. Peace out.